conference number 11, How to Fabricate Soul and Spirit. This is a very deep conference. We're going to see what is the soul made of and which are the steps to fabricate the soul and the spirit. Okay, let's remember that the word fabricate means to make something out of its own components. So let's see what are the components of the soul. The soul is a set of virtues, powers, faculties, and strengths that are latent inside us. Okay, when we talk about virtues, are the values, the principles that we have as human beings. When somebody commits an awful crime, we say like, oh my God, but I mean, doesn't he have a heart? We're trying to say like, I mean, don't you have a soul? Powers, it's the power over the four elements. Okay, so it's the power over fire, water, earth, and air. Faculties, the soul has many faculties, has the faculty of clairvoyance, which means that it could see clearly. Okay, we see through our ego. It has the power of clairaudience, so it could clearly hear in other dimensions. Okay, it also has the faculty to see what's going to happen according to my actions in 20, 30 years, even in my next life. So for example, if I'm a teacher and I tell this to a kindergarten, imagine a kindergarten teacher, and you tell this to a student, and just to know that in 30 years this child is going to remember what I told them, and that's going to make him make a decision, then that is one of the faculties of the soul, you know, to know how the actions are going to happen in the future. Okay, what is the cause and the effect? Okay, we also have the faculty of intuition. Okay, of just knowing, and you just wake up with anxiety and you just don't know, but I just can't stay still, you know, I just know that something's going to happen. Or you have that feeling, or that little voice that tells you like it's now or never, you know, or you either tell him right now, or you know, that's it, forget it, you're going to lose the best chance ever. Okay, it also has the faculty to communicate through telepathy. For example, if you have noticed, in our dreams we don't speak with our mouth. Usually you will see, pay attention in your dreams, and you're going to see that people's mouth don't move. Okay, all the communication is mental. Okay, also it has the faculty to communicate with the plants, with the animals, and obviously, well, with other human beings. Okay, strengths, it has different strengths. The strengths as of the physical strength, you could see that a mother, when her child is in danger, she's able to even pick up a car and take out her baby. Why? Because it's the strength of the soul. We have the strength of love, for example, that it moves mountains. We have the strength of believing, okay, of imagination. So the soul is a set of all of these things that are inside us. Okay, so let's see. How do we fabricate the soul? Okay, we fabricate the soul through these three factors. Okay, one, it's here that I am covering, and it says psychological death. The psychological death means that, as I said at the beginning, the soul has virtues, right? Part of its components. But we as human beings, we are not perfect, right? I mean, we have ego, we are selfish, we are impatient. So through the psychological death, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to free those values that are trapped in those wrong ways of being inside me. Okay, so I observe myself And let's say that I wake up moody, but I just don't know why. Okay, so I already know that today I'm moody. So right away I ask my Divine Mother to eliminate that wrong way of being. Okay, I get up, I make the kids, come on, wake up, guys, you gotta go to school, hurry up, okay? But I'm still moody, and I give them breakfast, and he spills the milk, and I'm like, I want to scream at him, like, hey, Mammy, can you be careful? Look now. And plus it goes on the uniform, so and so you just observe how that anger wants to come out, and I'm going to be asking my Divine Mother to kill all of those defects, kill this I inside me that wants to scream to the little kid, okay, that just wants to like take him from the shirt and, hey, come on. So I just keep asking. That means that I am freeing my virtue of patience, okay, through killing this defect. Then when I have time, I'm going to sit and reflect, okay, because I am being unconscious thanks to this defect. So I reflect, and I have to sit with myself and see, okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, is it right if I would have or if I screamed to my son right now, he's going to feel he's going to lose trust on me and on himself. I am affecting his self-esteem. Is it fair? Yeah, no, it's not fair. He's just a child. I mean, they make mistakes. I'm the one that is wrong. So there I am reflecting on my own way of being, and I'm becoming my own psychologist, because here is to learn to treat our own selves. And I'm going to become a conscious person, and I'm going to see that I'm going to start becoming more conscious, more tolerant. So there I am freeing my soul. I am awakening those virtues of the soul. Okay? Spiritual birth. Spiritual birth is the creation of the inner bodies. We saw that in the conference before. So I have this physical body, right? But I am not this physical body. This physical body is the vehicle of my soul to have a representation here in this third dimension. But there are other dimensions. There are more conscious states, superior states of consciousness, which my soul needs to live in. Okay, so in order for my soul to be there, I need to fabricate those bodies for my own self. Okay, like in astral projection, right? I mean, how often can you do the practice and do it consciously? I mean, sometimes you do it and you're like, oh my god, great, right? But like it finished so fast, and why couldn't I just continue being there? Because that body is not created. That is one of the bodies that through the spiritual birth I must create to have to let my soul also live in that dimension. Okay, sacrifice for humankind. All souls came to help each other. Okay, souls do not separate themselves as, we're family, you're my best friend, you're my co-workers, and it's us. Okay, first you, and then, well, if we have spare time or if I have spare money, I'll help the others. Souls do not see it that way. Okay, for souls, we are all one, and we're here to help one another, and the best way to help one another is giving a soul the tools for its own freedom, okay, for its own auto-realization. So that is sacrifice for humankind. So with these three factors are the ones that we built the soul. So let's see the next slide. We're going to see the steps, okay, which are the steps to fabricate the human soul. So the steps are: First is to receive this objective knowledge, okay? But it tells us here that out of 1,000 that search for me, only one follows me. What does that mean? In the conference of evolution, involution, and revolution, which if you haven't seen it, I really do suggest, I mean, you see it, it's really deep and beautiful, and you really understand the process of the soul, okay? So, the soul came here for wisdom, right? Through the wheel of samsara, it passes through the different kingdoms, okay, acquiring that knowledge. And then here in the human kingdom, it keeps dying and coming back, right? So we return and return. In those returns, what the soul is doing is searching for the path, for its way out, right? To come out of, to leave the matrix, okay? It's looking for its outer realization, but when the soul is strong and mature enough to understand and to follow this path, it's going to receive this knowledge, okay? So after it receives this knowledge, it's going to start practicing the 3 factors that are the ones that we just talked about in the slide before, okay? We need to balance the energy centers, okay? What they are not our chakras, but they're in the same position, okay? So we need to balance those energy centers in order to be able to create, in order to have the correct elements for that creation, okay? So how do I do this? And here it tells us, you know, out of 1,000 that find me, only one follows me. That means that it is not easy to balance those energy centers. Why? Something typical in a mother in summer, for example, is to take her son out to the park, right? But many people, women, you know, they get together with their friend and they say, okay, yeah, we're going to meet at 5 o'clock. We'll meet at 5 o'clock in the park. And they take their kid there, right? And kids stay in the park. But I stay with my friends there, just speaking about nothing with a real objective, right? So to balance my centers, I must save energy, okay? To save energy, I must observe myself and each one of my centers. So for example, this 5th center there, when I am speaking and speaking and speaking, this center is losing energy, okay? It's losing motor energy. So I must be always observing myself and asking myself, is this what I'm doing useful? Is it fair? Is it necessary? Well, no, being in the park with them, it's not useful, it's not fair, it's useless to the soul, okay? To the evolution of the soul, it's like, you know, you're not doing anything right now. You're losing time and you're losing energy. That means that I must learn to live life in a way that I save that energy and always work according to what's better to my conscious. So I must understand that it is better if I go and play with my little kid, and there I am doing something with an objective, something conscious. I am making him feel that I'm there, I'm with you, and making him feel secure. I'm working in his self-esteem. Or also, he must have time to be with other kids. So if I stay away there in the bench, I could be there is listening to something that is useful to my evolution as soul, okay? So it makes me all the time, like if I have a job, I have to be always asking myself, like, I'm taking extra work home. Is this going to help my evolution? No, it is not. This job is so stressing, and this job is stressing and it takes so much energy from me, I am not going to be able to create those inner bodies because I'm not going to have the correct energy for that practice. So it makes you take decisions from time to time and to be choosing what is best for the soul. So that's why everybody, out of all the people that finds this path, not everybody is willing to follow it. Okay. The fourth one, have a stable partner, the work of the mountain of birth. Okay. So here, for the super sex practice, which I explained it fully in the conference before, we talked about those inner bodies, what was the way of creating them. Well, we saw here that for this practice, we are magnetizing the bodies. We're working with alchemy, with chemistry. So I need to have a stable partner because we're both going to magnetize with our energy. Okay, so I'm going to magnetize with his energy. He's going to magnetize with mine. Okay, so I need that person to keep creating these inner bodies. The fifth one, I need to rise the waters, okay, to make them ascend. That means that a person who doesn't know about the super sex practice is used to spilling their energy, having an orgasm or an ejaculation. So the water is going down, right? The seminal waters. In this practice, these seminal waters, I am going to take them and they're going to go up through and they're going to ascend through my spinal cord, vertebra through vertebra, and you're going to see that when you finish the practice, especially in men, you're going to notice that the man didn't ejaculate, but though he doesn't have erection, okay, because the body absorbed these waters, rise them through the spinal cord, and it's a practice without fornication, okay. The sixth is to receive the sword. This is the initiation of the spiritual path of the soul. Okay, so when the person stops fornicating and eliminated the eye of fornication, when the person understood and valued his own energy, his own sexual energy, and definitely understands that why it shouldn't be spilled, and has already proved that what I'm talking about here, it's real in our inner world. So he's going to receive the sword. Okay, this sword is the one that's going to open this spiritual path. Okay, this, I know that if you're listening to this for the first time, it sounds like, wait a minute, I mean, yes, I need to understand this deeper. Don't worry, later on in the conferences we're going to be talking about these topics again. Okay, so don't worry about it. Let's keep on with the steps. So the seventh, it says complete the 5 initiations of major mysteries. Okay, so whenever I create one of these 5 bodies, I'm going to pass an initiation. Okay, when I am passing through these initiations, my sword is going to start growing. Okay, it starts getting bigger. When it's really big as your spinal cord, it means that the person has already finished this first part of the job. Okay, so in that creation of the bodies, we're going to regenerate this physical body because I already have this body, right? I'm going to regenerate the vital body because I already have this body, but I'm going to create the astral, the mental, and the causal body. Okay, so every time I finish one of these bodies, it is the soul is the one that receives an initiation in this inner path. Okay, which we will talk about it in other conferences. Let me just get something straight here. Yeah, okay, so the person created the four bodies, right? Starts creating the fifth body. In the beginning of that creation, the soul must choose either the direct path or the nirvana. Okay, what's the difference? The direct path is the second phase of this work to now fabricate the spirit. Okay, there the soul is finished, but now it needs to create the spirit. If it chooses the direct path, it's going to go to that path to finish it. If it chooses the nirvana, it's like a heaven. Okay, so in that heaven, like, he receives the vacations that he has the merits for, because it was a real hard job of doing this, but he's just going to stay there, and it cannot continue with its evolution. Everything has a time when everything is finished. So any moment, well, after being there for a long time, he can't stay in the nirvana forever. He's going to come back to this wheel of the samsara, and it's going to have to do this job again. Okay, unfortunately, recurrence, it's already created there, so that means that though he will do this job again, the most possible thing is that he's going to choose going to the nirvana again, because it's a recurrence. We repeat again what we did in other lives. When the person chose the direct path and finishes the fifth body, there the soul is already made. Okay, so here what happens? Here is the union of the divine soul with the human soul. Okay, so if you have seen the star of David, that it's that star that is two triangles, one that is like this and the other one that is like that, right? That's the meaning of this. Okay, so the triangle that it's looking down, it's the divine soul that it's looking down, waiting for its human soul to come up. Okay, so when they meet, it's the perfect matrimony. Okay, it's when the soul is completed. Now let me turn to the other slide. Okay, so there the soul is completed, so we can begin the fabrication of the spirit. How is the fabrication of the spirit done? The same way that it was done with the soul. Okay, through the three factors. Okay, with the psychological death, with the supersex practice, and sacrifice for human being. That means teaching other people and helping others. Okay, so when the two souls unite, the divine and the human soul unite, they form the second triangle, which is Atman, Buddhi, and Manas. Those are three forces that are superior, and they're the ones that are going to help to build the spirit. Okay, so questions that people usually have about these topics. Okay, so people usually have the questions like, okay, how is a body created? Okay, a body is created through the supersex practice, but the supersex practice is not enough. Okay, you cannot only work in the supersex and think that like that you're going to create the bodies. You need to balance the 5 hubs that we have inside us. Okay, so I will ask myself 4 things all the time. If this that I'm feeling right? So no, I'm just exaggerating. Okay, so I asked my divine mind, my divine mother, to kill it, right? Is this that I'm thinking right? So the same thing. No, it isn't. So I asked my divine mother to kill it. Is this what I'm doing right? No, it isn't. So I asked my divine mother to kill it. Is this what I am saying right? No, it isn't. So I asked my divine mother to kill it, and obviously I change and I start doing something with an objective. Okay, so that way I'm going to be saving energy the whole day until it is time to have the super sex practice. Okay, how long does it take to create a body? Okay, well, a body takes about 2.5 years to be created. If you're working with discipline, okay, and if you're not fornicating, if you're not having an orgasm or an ejaculation, okay. Another question is, how long does it take to create the soul? Okay, there are 5 bodies, and in the creation of those 5 bodies, each body it's 2 years and a half, so that will be 12 years and a half. So that's why we say approximately 13 years. How do we know that the work has already started? Good question. I mean, how do you know that you already began with the creation of these bodies? Because you're going to receive the sword in the inner path. Okay, you're going to see that in your own astral unfoldments. How do you know that you're going on the right way? Because you have achieved chastity. Okay, that means that you deeply understand and value your own sexual energy, and that's why you don't fornicate anymore, because you are conscious of this job. The next question is, let's see, is it possible to create the bodies without a partner? No, unfortunately, no. This is like having, like if you want to have a child, you definitely need a partner, okay? And you need a stable partner of the opposite sex in order to create this inner bodies. Next question, is it possible to create the soul if we're castrated? No, because here we need our sexual energy. Everything works with the creation, works with that energy. So I need to have my ovaries and all of my sexual organs right and complete. Okay, if you're a man nowadays, there are surgeries for men in order for not to leave the woman pregnant. If you have that surgery, you cannot create these bodies, so you must go back and get another surgery to, I don't know the name of the surgery, but it's just to reverse what they did to you, and then you can start doing this work. Okay, the next question says, how long does it take to complete the second mountain? Okay, so to the first mountain, we referred it as the work of building the soul, right? That is about 13 years. The second mountain is the creation of the spirit. Okay, so once, so you can do it in 20 years, right? But the person is given 1,000 years with that same physical body to create it, because more than practicing in the sexual practice, in the super sex practice, and working in its own psychology, it needs to find a person, okay, somebody, a disciple, to stay here given this knowledge and who has already chosen the direct path. Okay, why is it that out of 1,000 people that seek the secret path, only one can find it? Okay, one of the main reasons is because of karma. Many people have had this knowledge. This knowledge has been here for even before Jesus Christ came to planet Earth. Okay, so it's something that used to be given from year to year, and where people used to be burned for giving this knowledge. So people have been having it for a long time, and we're souls that we return and return and return. So if we received this knowledge before and we betrayed our own self, okay, by not doing this practice, by choosing, I'd rather become rich, I'd rather keep fornicating, So it is a crime against the Holy Spirit. So people are punished, the soul is punished by not receiving this knowledge for several existences. Also, as I said at some time before, here in this conference, was that in the wheel of the samsara, the soul is going to pass through many lives, and it's always in its search of this wisdom. Okay, so when it is mature enough, it's going to receive it. And the last question is, why is it that out of 1,000 people that follow the secret path, only one achieves the self-realization? Okay, why? Because I already explained it, because people choose the nirvanic path. Okay, why? Because this path is not easy, okay? Building the soul is not an easy path. Working on yourself, seeing yourself changing. We always want others to change, but we don't change ourselves. So our own process is hard, okay? So that's why when the person gets to this point, it's like, oh my god, what a relief, like finally made it, right? And it's like if you're going up a big mountain and you're finally like up there, you're like, that's it. And then they show you like, oh no, I mean, there's that next mountain, but you're so tired. So you're like, oh no, forget it, that's it. I'm staying here. It's okay. That's what it is. Okay, so many people decide and they say, I stay here in the nirvana. I'm not going to continue going up. So, unfortunately, like I told you before, it becomes a recurrence, and well, the soul later on will do the same. Okay. If you guys want the audio of this conference, if you want this conference in PDF, if you want to receive any tutorials, if you want to receive any book that I could send you through WhatsApp, your email, or whatever, write to me in the inbox. Remember that all of this that we teach and we give is completely free. We're never going to charge you for anything, okay? And to invite you to the next conference. Okay, so next Thursday we're going to be talking about, oh, it's not there. Hold on, sorry you guys. Oh no. I almost turned it off. Okay, well, I just hadn't seen that the slide was cut at the end, and I can see the name of it, but it's the one about recurrence, okay? Return and recurrence is the name of the next conference. It's conference number 12, and here we're going to talk all about reincarnation, okay? Why is it that we come back? How can I know who I was in a past life? Understand more about karma and how we can jump through this reincarnation and stop coming back. I mean, tools, okay, for everything about this topic. Guys, if you have any questions, leave it down here in the comments, or if they are personal questions, you can write to me through the inbox. Thank you very much, and see you next Thursday at the same time.